Shalom, Bruchim Habaim. Welcome to this video. Today we are gonna look at to walk and to go and what are the differences between English and Hebrew. They look like the same, right? You have to go in English, you have to go in Hebrew, the same for to walk, but do they actually use these verbs in the same way? So we are going to look into this right now. And the reason I have chosen this for today's video is that I got an email from Lou who asked me about the expression to walk the dog. So this is also what I will teach you in this video, and I will explain to you why they say it like this and why they use that verb and not another. If this is the first time that you're watching one of my videos, my name is Ruth Avni. They also call me the Verb Queen, and I walked in your shoes. I have once been an Ulpan student, and I became a Hebrew teacher myself, and my specialty is teaching Hebrew verbs. It drives me nuts how they teach Hebrew verbs throughout the world. And nearly every student is extremely confused about Hebrew verbs, and I don't think it has to be that way. Okay, lean back, get comfy, and we are going to start. So here we have the two verbs we are going to talk about today, lalechet and letayel. If you look them up in the dictionary, and unfortunately today people only use internet sources, which are not the most exact sources. However, even in dictionaries, you will find these general translations. Lalechet, to go, to walk, and then for letayel, to go for a walk, to be on a trip. Okay, great. Now the question from Lou. I walk the dog. Walk, we have just learned, is lalechet. But we are not going to use it here. We are going to use letayel. Why is that? In a minute, I will show you. So, first, the translation. I walk the dog is ani metayel, or ani Ruth metayelet, im hakelev. Metayel is PL. In this video, we are not going to dive into the conjugations. I have a lot of videos about conjugations. This video is about which verb to use for example, walking the dog. However, if you are new to Hebrew verbs and you want to know more about conjugations, yes, I have a big course, but I also have a book. This is actually the first product that I brought out years ago, where I list the rules, and then there is a workbook. These are rather drill sheets. The big verb course is different. There I make you go between all the binyanim. So before we now move on, let me just tell you the link to this book and other resources is in the description of this video. Okay, good. So, question, why do we use letayel? So here we have learned that the general translation of lalechet is to walk. So most students, of course, want to say that with lalechet. But this is the thing. That should be rather in letayel, that translation, because it is linked to go for a walk. Whereas lalechet is more the transport and you're going somewhere, there is an intention and a direction. Letayel is an activity, not necessarily to go somewhere. It could be just the activity for the sake of moving the body. Now, when I say I walk the dog, then it is this activity. Ani metayel im hakelev. If I say I go with the dog, ani holech im hakelev. So this is about direction, maybe also transport, but in this case it is direction. And the next question then would be to where? Where are you going? I'm going with the dog. To? So the natural idea is that this is leading somewhere. Now, lalechet has the following concept. It is just to go. It is not walking, a strolling. It is an intention and a direction. Whereas letayel is an activity and it is leisure. I am not saying that this is 100% the case. You might have some exceptions, but to give you a tool to choose, a tool to decide, am I in this field or in that field? So the next time you are wondering, is this really correct, what I want to say? And the activity and the leisure, that's where in English you might use the following verbs: to tour, to hike, to stroll, to explore. You get it, right? Okay, now I give you two sentences and you will tell me what the difference is. So here I have, I walked in the street. Okay, once I used lalechet. In the past tense, that is halachti, I went. So I was walking along the street, halachti barechov, or I use letayel, tiyalti barechov. You might perfectly translate that in English into I walked in the street, or I walked along the street. In Hebrew, you get information out of these two sentences. The first one is neutral movement. There is somebody using the two legs in the street. Neutral. Now, the other one is an activity, as we just saw before. It is relaxed, there is no goal, it's leisure. You would rather say in English, I strolled. This is exactly where the difficulty comes with the translation, because you might translate it correctly, but the idea you get is a completely different one. So the question is, what do you want to communicate? So in order to get a feeling for this, when to use this or that, you need exposure. And exposure means you have to have contact with the language a lot of times, and in a lot of different varieties. The weekly lessons are a service where I send you every week Israeli footage for 3 levels: starter, easy, and advanced. You get video, audio, transcripts, vocabulary lists, and verb heavy exercises. All that information is below in the description. Okay, well, this was it for today. I had a lot of fun teaching this. I hope you enjoyed it. And I also hope I see you in the next lesson. Neshikot. Shalom.